Welcome back, student. In the previous lecture of the magnetostatic, we were dealing with the boundary condition, the most important bit, as I already told you in the examination point of view. And we have started our discussion about boundary condition. We are going to solve the boundary condition. We have gone through this diagram also. We are once again coming back to this diagram when we'll see the second boundary condition. But we are just making use of these two equations to understand the first boundary condition. So we already got the first boundary condition by making use of closed surface integral of b bar dot ds bar is equal to 0, and we finally come to the conclusion that b1n equal to b2n. That means that normal component of magnetic flux density is continuous across the interface, but normal component of field intensity, magnetic field intensity h1n, is not equal to h2n. Okay, so mu1 h1n is equal to mu2 h2n, but h1n is not equal to h2n. That means that normal component of h bar is discontinuous or is not continuous at the interface of these two particular media. So we'll try to understand the next boundary condition by making use of the second equation, that is closed line integral of h bar dot dl bar is equal to 0. So let's go here and try to understand. Similarly, applying equation 2 to the closed path ABCDA, where surface current K on the boundary is assumed normal to the path, we obtain. So before looking at this particular expression, let's go back here and try to understand this. What is this first expression? Try to understand. It is closed line integral h bar dot dl bar is equal to I. So if I look at this particular diagram and see, I started my journey from point A towards B. If I start my journey from point A towards B, I can write the first expression that h1, I use this marker, h1. So what is this component? Component in the direction of AB, the component in the direction of AB is h1t, but h bar dot dl bar means what is the length of this segment AB? It is shown here. The length of the segment AB is delta W. So h1t delta W, it is over. Now I will start my journey from B to C, but before B to C, the half part of the BC segment is in the region 1 and half part is in the region 2. So let's talk about this particular region now. So it is delta h by 2, so the length will be delta h by 2, and in the region 1, if this is the direction, try to find the component of h bar in the direction of BC. So h1n is going upward, and while traveling from B to C we are going downward, so we must take minus h1n into what? See, half of the length we need to consider. We cannot consider complete length because in the region 1 only half of the length BC exists, so it will be delta h by 2. Delta h by 2. Is it okay? Let's go back to the next thing. From half of this BC, we have now entered into the region 2. Let's calculate in this particular direction what is the component of h2. So what is the component of h2 in the normal direction? So it is h2n. Since h2n is once again going upward and we are going in the downward direction, I will write minus h2n into delta h by 2. Perfectly okay. So this is the third thing I got. Now I will start my journey from C to D. There is no question of making it half because CD segment is entirely exist in the region 2. What is the length? Delta W. Now try to find the component in this direction of h bar. So if I am traveling from right to left, something like this, I have h2t which is traveling or which is having the direction in the rightward, so from left to right. So can I write it as minus h2t? Yes, I can write. So minus h2t into delta W. Delta W. Any doubt in this? I hope not. Okay. Then I came till this point D. I need to close a path, so I need to travel from D to A. If I start traveling from D to A, half of this DA segment is in the region 2, half of this DA segment is in region 1. So half of this segment I will write it here. Try to understand. So I am traveling from D to A. I will find the component of h bar in the region 2 which is going in the upward direction or which is in the normal direction. So it is h2n. It is also going upward. I am also traveling upward. So it will be plus now. Why plus? Because the direction of h2n and direction of the segment DA, the traveling point is same. So it will be h2n delta h by 2. Delta h by 2. Try to understand this because I am having a less space here. So h2n delta h by 2. Now half. Now the half of this is in the region 1. So can I write this as, so let's find a component. So h1n is going upward and d2 is also going upward. So once again plus h1n into delta h by 2. So this is the expression I am going to write, and I am going to show it in the notes also. So h1n delta h by 2 plus h1n delta h by 2 get cancelled, so I can just cross it. Then h2n delta h by 2, h2n delta h by 2 get cancelled, is equal to, so this is just LHS we have calculated. So is equal to what? Current distribution, because is a closed line integral of h bar dot dl bar is equal to I. So we already know the current of I can be written as I dl equal to k ds is equal to j dv. So we'll try to write down on the right hand side by making use of this k. What is k? K is the surface current density. So I need to calculate it as k ds. So let's try to write it down k ds, but it is in the direction normal to this particular thing, normal to this surface which we are talking about. So let's go back to the derivation once again and try to solve it here. So if we try to solve it here, so k into delta w. Why delta w we have taken? Because this is the surface carrying current in the direction of width. So delta w is the width that we consider. So k delta w is equal to h1t delta w, h1n, and all these things get cancelled, and I am left with only this thing. So h1n delta n by 2, h1n delta h by 2, h2n delta h by 2, h2n delta h by 2 get cancelled, and I am left with k delta w is equal to h1t delta w minus h2t delta w. And now if I assume delta h tends to 0, equation 4 can be written as h1t minus h2t delta w can be cancelled from both the sides, and I am left with this k. What is k? K is the surface current density. Don't forget, in the electric field intensity E1t is equal to E to t, but in magnetic field intensity H1t is not equal to H2t unless k equal to 0. If k equal to 0, I can write h1t is equal to h2t, but it is not the case, and therefore h1t minus h2t is equal to k. And I am now going to make the statement that the magnetic field intensity is also not continuous or is discontinuous at the boundary. I can write the expression for h1 in terms of b1 upon mu1, b2 upon mu2, b1t, b2t already know is equal to k. And I am now going to make another statement that even the tangential component of magnetic flux density is discontinuous across boundary, and tangential component of magnetic field intensity is also not continuous. If k equal to 0, I can write h12 equal to h2t, and that is the thing we are going to do in the next slide. It shows that tangential component is also discontinuous at the boundary. If boundary is free of current or media or conductor k equal to 0, then we can write h1t equal to h2t, and now you can make the statement, if k equal to 0, the magnetic field or the tangential component of magnetic field intensity is continuous across the boundary, while b1t upon mu1 is equal to b2t upon mu2, still it is discontinuous. So tangential component of magnetic flux density is not continuous or discontinuous across the boundary. So tangential component of h bar is continuous at the boundary but not b bar. Okay, let's go to the next slide and let's calculate. If field makes an angle of theta with the normal component to the interface, what I mean to say, if I just theta 1 and theta 2, we are going to calculate certain things, theta 1 and theta 2. So can we have certain relationship between theta 1 and theta 2 in terms of mu1 and mu2? It's similar to the Snell's law which you already studied in case of light rays. Similar to that, if I try to find it out, you can do it on your own. b1 cos theta 1 is equal to b1n, obviously, is equal to b2n equal to b2 cos theta 2. See what I mean to say? I will take you back first of all, and then I will come back to this particular slide. So what is b1n? So if this is the angle theta, so this is the adjacent side if of this right angle triangle or of this right angle triangle. According to parallelogram law, b1n is also equal to b1n. This b1t is exactly equal to b1t. So b1n is nothing but cos theta 1 b1. So b1 cos theta 1 is equal to b1n, and b2 cos theta 2 is equal to b2n, and these normal components are same according to the first boundary condition. If that is so, the last part that we are going to discuss is b1 cos theta 1 equal to b1n is equal to b2n equal to b2 cos theta 2, and finally b1 upon mu1 sin theta 1 is equal to h1t is equal to h to t is equal to b2 upon mu2 sin theta 2. That's the another angle, so opposite side. And dividing equation 6 by 7 or 7 by 6, so sin theta 1 upon cos theta 1 will give you tan theta 1 upon tan theta 2. Already the remaining things will get cancelled and I am left with just mu1 upon mu2. And this equation 8 gives an refraction for magnetic flux lines at the boundary with no surface component. So if you have certain doubts that how we came to this equation number 6 and 7, just apply your trigonometric concept here. See, if this side is cos theta 1, the opposite side, because theta 1 opposite side is this side is a opposite side of parallelogram, and parallelogram are having same side. So b1t is nothing but b1 cos theta 1, and b2t is b2 cos theta 2, sorry, sin theta 2, my mistake. So b1t is equal to b1 sin theta 1 and b2t is equal to b2 sin theta 2. If you put those values here and finally divide them, we came to the conclusion that tan theta 1 upon tan theta 2 is equal to mu1 upon mu2. So in the numericals of this particular thing, if the theta 1 is known to you, mu1 is known to you, mu2 is known to you, you can calculate theta 2. So either of these four quantities, if three are known, you can calculate directly by using this particular expression. And equation 8 gives a law of refraction for magnetic flux lines at the boundary with no surface current. So that's it from my side. This is very important question in the examination point of view, and you should be well prepared for it. I am going to upload the contents of this on the LMS, and then you can see those contents also in my notes in the PDF form. Okay, so that's it from my side. Thank you very much and happy learning.